Burkina Faso, with its modest economy and vast gold reserves worth billions of dollars, was a prize coveted by foreign interests. Traoré's bold moves, nationalizing key industries and rejecting exploitative foreign aid tied to economic subservience, had angered these players, their influence waning as Burkina Faso asserted its autonomy. Yet, beneath the surface of progress, a new and insidious challenge emerged, a wave of harassment campaigns designed to destabilize the nation. Protests erupted without clear cause, vandalism struck strategic targets, and a flood of misinformation spread fear and division. These acts, often disguised as grassroots dissent, targeted Traoré's reforms, shaking public trust and sowing discord in a nation still finding its footing. Traoré, a former soldier whose mind was honed by years of battling insurgents in the arid Sahel, sensed a coordinated effort behind the chaos. The harassment wasn't random, it was orchestrated, funded by unseen hands to undermine his vision of a self-reliant Burkina Faso. His inner circle became his fortress. Amina Diallo, a brilliant intelligence chief whose analytical prowess had thwarted countless plots. General Moussa Traoré, a seasoned military strategist with a grizzled demeanor and unyielding loyalty, and Captain Issouf Sawadogo, his scar-faced security chief, whose bond with Traoré was forged in shared struggles against corruption and external threats. Together, they faced a nation under strain, its people caught between the soaring hope of Traoré's reforms and the creeping fear of orchestrated chaos. The streets of Ouagadougou told a vivid story of this tension. Markets, once alive with laughter and the clink of coins, grew tense as rumors of unrest spread like wildfire. Students, inspired by Africa Rise and its promise of a brighter future, faced harassment at rallies, their voices drowned out by agitators wielding megaphones and pre-printed signs. Farmers, who had begun to thrive under Traoré's agricultural subsidies, found their crops vandalized, their irrigation systems smashed, and their hope tested by whispered lies about Traoré's intentions. Social media, a double-edged sword, buzzed with hashtags like Burkina Stands, rallying support for Traoré, but also with divisive propaganda, fake videos and posts accusing him of corruption, tyranny, or betrayal of his people. The nation was a tinderbox, and Traoré knew that a single spark could ignite chaos if left unchecked. He walked the city at dusk, his presence a calming force for vendors who greeted him with weary but trusting smiles. "We believe in you, Captain," a mother told him, clutching her child tightly, her eyes reflecting both pride and fear. "But we're afraid of the shadows." Traoré nodded, his jaw tight, his resolve hardening like steel forged in fire. The harassment was a weapon, wielded by enemies who feared Burkina Faso's rise, who saw its sovereignty as a threat to their profits and power. He vowed to unmask these enemies, to protect his people, and to prove that no amount of money could break the spirit of a nation united. The stage was set for a battle not of guns or armies, but of truth and courage, a fight that would begin with a single, daring move to expose the paid harassers and the shadowy forces behind them, a move that would echo across Africa and beyond. The harassment campaign unfolded like a storm across Burkina Faso, its tactics insidious, multifaceted, and designed to erode the nation's foundation. In Ouagadougou, protests erupted outside government buildings, crowds chanting slogans like "Traoré must go" and "No more lies." But their anger seemed oddly scripted, their signs uniform in design, their faces unfamiliar to local residents who knew their neighbors' struggles. In Bobo Dioulasso, vandals struck with precision, defacing Africa Rise training centers, spray-painting threats like "Traoré's end" across walls, and smashing solar panels that powered classrooms for rural youth. In remote villages near Dori, farmers woke to find their fields trampled, irrigation pipes slashed, and leaflets scattered across the soil, accusing Traoré of selling their land to foreign corporations for personal gain. Social media amplified the chaos, with anonymous accounts posting doctored images. Traoré shaking hands with Western leaders, captioned with claims he was a puppet, not a patriot. The campaign's sophistication was chilling, its coordination betraying a well-funded operation. Protests were timed to disrupt key moments, like the opening of a new Africa Rise Center in Ouagadougou, where agitators clashed with police, their violence captured on video and broadcast to paint Traoré as an oppressive dictator. Misinformation spread like a virus. Fake audio clips surfaced online, purporting to capture Traoré confessing to embezzling millions of dollars, sowing doubt even among his staunch supporters. In markets, rumors of imminent food shortages, entirely false but relentlessly persistent, sparked panic, leading to hoarding and price spikes that hurt the poorest families. The harassers were invisible yet omnipresent, their actions carefully calibrated to exhaust the nation, to make Traoré's vision of progress seem unattainable, a dream slipping through the fingers of a weary people. Amina Diallo, tasked with dissecting the campaign, presented her findings in a secure bunker beneath Ouagadougou, her voice sharp and precise as she stood before a map pinned with red markers. "This is not spontaneous dissent," she said, pointing to clusters of incidents across the country. The protests use identical slogans in Ouagadougou, Bobo, Diallo, and Banfora word for word. The vandalism targets Africa Rise assets specifically, ignoring other infrastructure. Social media accounts driving the propaganda are linked to servers in Europe and North America, using encrypted VPNs to mask their origins. She held up a confiscated leaflet, its glossy finish and high-quality printing out of place in Burkina Faso's modest economy. This was produced abroad, likely in Dubai or Paris. Someone is paying for this millions of dollars, funneled through shell companies to keep their hands clean. Issouf Sawadogo, his scar stark under the bunker's fluorescent lights, leaned forward, his fists clenched. "We've arrested a few agitators, petty criminals, mostly paid in cash to stir trouble," he said, his voice thick with frustration. "They're foot soldiers, not masterminds. They get $200 here, $500 there, but they don't know who's pulling the strings. The money's foreign, wired through intermediaries in Mali and Niger." General Musa, his face etched with worry, added, "The timing is no coincidence. They hit us when we're strongest, after Africa Rise opens new centers, after crop yields rise. They want to break the public's faith in Ibrahim, to make people think his reforms are failing." Traoré sat at the head of the table, his fingers steepled, his eyes burning with a quiet intensity. "Then we trace the money," he said, his voice calm but edged with steel, a commander issuing a battle cry. "Find the source, and we find the enemy. Amina, I want every transaction, every account, every name. Issouf, round up more of these agitators, someone will talk. Musa, keep the cities secure. We can't let this chaos spread." His team nodded, their purpose clear, their loyalty a bulwark against the storm. The campaign's toll was heavy, its scars visible across Burkina Faso. In Ouagadougou, a market fire suspected arson destroyed dozens of stalls, vendors weeping as their livelihoods burned to ash, their cries echoing through the night. In Banfora, a Africa Rise student named Fatoumata, a bright 19-year-old training in solar technology, was attacked at a rally, her arm broken by a masked assailant who vanished into the crowd. Social media posts mocked her injury, calling her a Traoré pawn, twisting her courage into a lie to further divide the nation. The harassment wasn't just physical, it was psychological, designed to wear down the spirit of a people who had only begun to believe in their own power. Yet Burkina Faso resisted, its resilience a testament to Traoré's leadership. Communities rallied, pooling resources to repair vandalized training centers, their hammers and paintbrushes symbols of defiance. Students launched counter-campaigns on social media, their hashtags Truth for Traoré and Africa Rises trending alongside the propaganda, their videos of Africa Rise successes drowning out the lies. Farmers took turns guarding their fields at night, their machetes gleaming under the stars, their trust in Traoré unbroken despite the sabotage. In a village near Dori, an elder named Mariam stood before Traoré during his visit, her voice steady despite her weathered face. "They can burn our crops, but they cannot burn our hope," she said, her words met with cheers from her neighbors. Traoré clasped her hand, her resolve fueling his own, a reminder that the nation's heart still beat strong. The harassment campaign was a shadow, creeping through Burkina Faso's soul, but Traoré was determined to drag it into the light. He knew the battle was not just for his government, but for the future of a continent long exploited, its people manipulated by distant powers. The harassers were pawns, their strings pulled by masters who hid behind wealth and secrecy. Traoré's mission was clear: expose them, arrest their agents, and show the world that Burkina Faso would not be broken, no matter the cost. Traoré launched a nationwide investigation to uncover the roots of the harassment campaign. Amina Diallo's intelligence unit, aided by Africa Rise tech graduates, became the spearhead. In their Ouagadougou lab, they tracked data from seized burner phones and laptops, uncovering a web of offshore payments, small amounts funneled through intermediaries, pointing to millions laundered via Dubai and the Cayman Islands. Issouf's forces moved fast. A breakthrough came with the arrest of Idrissa Comparé, a smuggler with foreign ties. Interrogated under pressure, he confessed to receiving $50,000 from a mysterious broker with an Eastern European accent. The mission: hire protesters, distribute leaflets, destabilize key sites like Africa Rise. Amina's team followed the money trail to a shell company, Horizon Ventures, then cracked an encrypted ledger detailing $10 million paid to agitators, hackers, and media operatives. Among the names: Elena Markov, a Russian broker; Victor Stone, a former US mercenary; and Jean-Paul Dubois, a French mining mogul angry over Traoré's nationalizations. The deeper they dug, the clearer the plot became. A coalition Amina called the Syndicate, business and political elites from Russia, France, and the US, funding chaos to topple Traoré and reopen the country's gold fields. A leaked email from Horizon Ventures outlined Operation Discord, listing another player, Senator Richard Grayson, whose campaigns were funded by mining interests. Further digging uncovered Apex Dynamics, a Virginia-based front that funded bots and misinformation across social media. Though the paper trail was partial, the strategy was clear: sow unrest and install a compliant regime. Zongo, a fixer arrested in Bobo Dioulasso, confirmed the pattern: $20,000 from a foreign contact resembling Stone, orders to spark riots and target reform centers. His recorded confession linked the street-level chaos directly to the Syndicate's elite backers. When briefed, Traoré's fury was quiet but unwavering. "They're not just attacking me, they're attacking Africa's future," he said. General Moussa warned of retaliation if they named powerful figures. Grayson, Dubois, this could bring sanctions, worse. But Amina stood firm. "Truth is our strength. The people must know." That evening, Traoré walked the markets. Despite tension, life pulsed through the streets. A farmer stopped him. "We trust you, Captain. Don't let them win." The words stayed with him. By dawn, his decision was made. "We expose the Syndicate," he told his team. "But first, we arrest their agents, every last one. Burkina Faso cannot be bought." Traoré ordered a nationwide sweep to dismantle the Syndicate's disinformation network and restore public trust. Issouf Sawadogo led dawn raids across major cities: Ouagadougou, Bobo Dioulasso, Koudougou, Banfora, his elite forces arresting agitators, seizing cash, laptops, and propaganda materials. In one warehouse, youths were caught printing anti-government flyers for $200 each. In Banfora, a hacker named Amadou was arrested mid-upload of a deepfake video, his payment traced to Horizon Ventures. The crackdown, built on intelligence gathered by Amina, targeted 200 suspects, mostly unemployed, youth and petty criminals drawn by desperation. One case, a young mother named Salamata, broke down in custody. "I was paid to shout slogans," she sobbed. Traoré met her personally, offering leniency in exchange for cooperation. Her intel led to the arrest of Ousmane Zongo, a fixer paid $20,000 to orchestrate regional unrest. The operation wasn't bloodless. In Bobo Dioulasso, a syndicate hideout triggered a firefight, 2 soldiers wounded. Issouf grazed by a bullet but refusing evacuation. The weapons, traced to Markov's Bulgarian contacts, confirmed the syndicate's global reach. Drones hovered above cities while Musa's armored units maintained order. Social media lit up with Traoré fights back, videos of arrests restoring faith in the government. Key interrogations revealed chilling truths. Zongo confessed to a $5 million meeting with Victor Stone in Niger. His orders: keep the chaos going. Traoré is bad for business. The audio, authenticated by Amina's texts, linked the campaign directly to the syndicate's core. By week's end, 180 arrests were made, with mountains of evidence, cash, burner phones, laptops collected. Traoré addressed the nation. "We've caught the pawns, but now we go after the kings. Burkina Faso will not bow." Radios buzzed with applause. The people's faith in their leader reignited. Ouagadougou's central square overflowed with tens of thousands, red, green, and yellow flags rippling under the blazing sun. Journalists from around the world lined the perimeter, cameras fixed on a wooden platform draped in Burkina Faso's colors, a massive screen looming behind it. The event was broadcast live from village radios to global networks, amplified by millions watching online. Traoré stepped forward in full uniform, calm yet resolute, eyes burning with intensity. The crowd fell silent. "My brothers and sisters," he began, his voice resonating through the square. "We have been attacked not with bombs, but with lies and chaos." He named the culprits: Richard Grayson, Jean-Paul Dubois, Victor Stone, Elena Markov, the Syndicate. The crowd gasped, then erupted. Traoré raised a hand. "They spent $10 million to divide us, to make us doubt who we are. But they underestimated you." The screen lit up with damning evidence, payment ledgers, confessions, seized weapons, and incriminating emails. "They targeted Africa Rise, burned our markets, attacked our youth," Traoré declared. "But we are Burkina Faso, we will not be uprooted." The crowd roared, fists in the air, flags flying, voices thunderous. As journalists filed their stories, the speech trended worldwide under Syndicate Exposed. It wasn't just a press conference, it was a reckoning, a declaration. A nation, betrayed but unbroken, naming its enemies and standing tall. Traoré's speech ignited a global firestorm, shaking power centers far beyond Ouagadougou. In Burkina Faso, thousands marched, not in anger, but pride, chanting, "No more lies," and "Traoré, our shield." Social media erupted with hashtags like Syndicate Exposed and Africa Stands, trending across continents. Young artists painted murals of Traoré, his silhouette framed by a rising sun, a sword of truth in hand. Solidarity spread across Africa. In Accra, students marched to the French embassy, demanding accountability for Jean-Paul Dubois. In Nairobi, activists held vigils, echoing Traoré's words, "We will not bow." The African Union condemned foreign interference, sparking calls for a unified continental stance. In the US, chaos followed the exposure of Senator Richard Grayson. Though he denied the claims, leaked Horizon emails tied him to mining firms and defense contractors. Protests erupted outside his office, fueled by diaspora groups. As pressure mounted, his political career began to unravel. In France, Jean-Paul Dubois faced scrutiny as Sahel gold stock plummeted. Media revelations linked him to efforts to destabilize Traoré's government. Protests surged in Paris, demanding justice for Africa, prompting an official investigation. Meanwhile, Syndicate operatives Victor Stone and Elena Markov vanished. Interpol alerts were issued, while Traoré quietly assigned Amina to trace their steps. At the UN, African diplomats pushed for a resolution against neo-colonial interference, despite Western resistance. In Beijing and Moscow, Traoré was praised, though, with geopolitical undertones. From London to Sao Paulo, vigils and protests continued. Traoré's bold move had redrawn the global narrative, with Burkina Faso at its center. Behind Traoré's public triumph, the harassment campaign exacted a profound personal toll, its scars etched into the lives of those who fought for Burkina Faso's soul. Traoré, often alone in his modest office at night, grappled with the weight of the nation's losses. The market fire in Ouagadougou haunted him, the memory of vendors' cries as their stalls burned seared into his mind. He visited the site, helping rebuild, but their faces, grief-stricken yet trusting, were a reminder of his responsibility. Fatoumata's injury, her arm broken by an assailant, weighed heavily. Traoré met her at the hospital, her courage humbling him. "I'd rally again," she said, her voice steady despite the pain. "For you, for us," Traoré nodded, his heart heavy, vowing to protect her dream. Issouf Sawadogo, racked with guilt for missing early clues, became relentless, his nights spent analyzing raid footage, his arm bandaged from the Bobo Dioulasso firefight. "I should have seen it sooner," he told Traoré, his voice breaking. Traoré placed a hand on his shoulder. "You fought for us, Issouf. We carry on together." Amina Diallo faced escalating threats, a chilling voicemail targeting her daughter Fatoumata. "Stop digging, or she pays." Amina, a single mother, stood firm, her eyes fierce. "They fear us," she told Traoré, "because we're close." Traoré assigned guards to her daughter, her resolve a beacon. The Syndicate's reach exposed Burkina Faso's vulnerabilities. Salamata's betrayal, driven by desperation, was a wound, but Traoré saw poverty as the true enemy. He expanded Solidarité Sahel, redirecting $10 million to aid 50,000 families with food and jobs, ensuring they wouldn't fall prey to bribes. Sleepless nights took their toll. Traoré's dreams filled with the market's flames, but a letter from a Comsilga student, "You are our hope," kept him grounded, his sacrifice, fueling his fight for a nation unbroken. Claire Dubois, a 34-year-old French journalist, emerged as a vital ally, her pen amplifying Traoré's fight. Her Le Monde exposé on Jean-Paul Dubois' $3 million role in the Syndicate sparked outrage. Paris protests demanding justice, their signs reading, "Stop stealing Africa." Working with Amina's evidence, Claire traced Sahel Gold's ties to French elites, her reporting forcing an investigation. Threats followed her apartment, vandalized, but she persisted, meeting Traoré in Ouagadougou. "Why name them?" she asked. "Truth is our weapon," he replied. Her global interview humanized him. "I fight for my people, not glory." Visiting Africa Rise, Claire saw its hope. Her article, "The Man Who Defied an Empire," going viral, fueling US and African protests, linking Burkina Faso's struggle to a global fight against greed. Africa Rise flourished, its 50,000 trainees turning deserts into farms, its Comsilga Centre de l'Espoir, a symbol of defiance. Traoré's televised visit showed him with Fatoumata. "You'll change the world," he said, her smile a beacon. Funded by $20 million locally, it rejected foreign control. Mali and Niger launched sister programs, the African Union proposing Africa Ascend. Murals, anthems like Sahel Rising, and poetry wove Africa Rise into Africa's soul, its ethos self-reliance, unity resonating across generations, a testament to a nation reborn under Traoré's vision. On a balcony, Traoré watched Ouagadougou glow, its lights a testament to resilience. The Syndicate was exposed, but their shadow lingered, Claire's lead pointing to Dubai. Amina, Issouf, and Salamata stood with him, their sacrifices a foundation. A boy offered a flag, its colors vibrant. "For us," Traoré said. "For Africa." Questions loomed. Who else was involved? What next? In the Sahel, Burkina Faso rose, its story one of courage, truth, and a future fiercely claimed.